So in this video we're going to give you some best practice for installing SOLIDWORKS and the associated products within the family. First I'm going to start by just explaining the different types of licenses that we have. The most popular is a standalone license. This is software which is used and installed on a given machine. There is the ability to transfer it between machines, but more often than not you'll keep it on the initial machine you install on. These licenses come in two different flavours. The first being a perpetual license. This is how SOLIDWORKS has worked from day one, and this allows you to buy the license and own it outright, and it has no expiration date. In the last few years, SOLIDWORKS has introduced a term or a rental license, and that allows use for up to 6 or 12 months. You can optionally choose to renew those licenses to continue its use, but if you choose not to, the software will stop working. In both cases, you install the software in exactly the same way, and you also activate the software in the same way. The difference between them is quite simply a term license has an expiry date. The second type of license is a network license. This is where you install SOLIDWORKS on a number of machines because the licensing is all done centrally from a licensed server. When SOLIDWORKS is opened on a user's machine, it takes a license from the server, deducting the number available for the rest of the team. Again, the software is installed in a very similar way using the same installer method. The difference here is the machine itself is not activated, it instead takes a license from a server, and it's the server that needs to be activated for use. Network licenses can be a single license, or more often than not, multiple licenses, so they can be shared amongst the team. Before installing the software, there are two main things that you need. The first of which is your SOLIDWORKS serial number. This will be provided upon purchase. It's very important to keep a note of this serial key and not share it around, because ultimately this is what unlocks the software that you've purchased. The different serial key formats you don't need to know in too much detail, but just for a heads up, they'll either begin with a 9 or a 0, there'll be 24 characters in length, a mix of numbers and letters, and the key difference between a network license and a standalone license is the third digit. If the third digit is a 1, it's a network license. If it's a 0, it's a standalone license. The other thing that you'll need is the software download to allow the install to start. We manage our software using the installation manager. So let's take a look at how you obtain that download. So to obtain your download, visit a search engine and just go for the SOLIDWORKS Customer portal. Once you access this web page, you're able to create a SOLIDWORKS ID, which will unlock various online resources for the SOLIDWORKS community. You require your email address and your SOLIDWORKS serial number. Once you've registered, you can then log in with the details provided. The customer portal has a wealth of different resources for you, but if you scroll down you can access the download and update section. From within here you can choose your SOLIDWORKS version, going up to the last 4 releases. Picking the SOLIDWORKS product and the associated service pack, you can then accept the agreement and continue, and then download the installation manager. This is a 30 megabyte file which will manage the whole install process. When you run the file, you'll be asked to extract the contents, and then the installation manager will load. This will then guide you through the duration of the rest of the install. So here we have the SOLIDWORKS installation manager launched. There are 4 options to begin with. The most popular is the first, install on this computer. The second allows you to create a templated install that you can deploy to multiple computers. This requires you to create a set of download files and then prepare all the license keys, installation paths in advance, and then roll that out to the machines that need the software. You can also install the server components from here, including the license manager or the data management systems. And you can also prepare the full download set of files. Prepared in advance, you can then deploy them on the day you intend to upgrade your machines. Downloading using that 4th option won't install any software at all. It's purely a means of preparing the install package in advance. Now whilst this initial download of the install manager is about 30 megabytes, the serial key that is entered will ultimately determine the amount of software to install. That will then have to download the adequate software packages to install on the given machine. So the range of install and download file size could be between 3 or 4 gigabytes right up to about 15 gigabytes depending on the software. Be aware that at any point during the installation process, you can use the Help menu at the bottom. This will tell you exactly what the options mean on the given page. So let's hit Next to advance on an individual install. At this point, I'm then asked to enter my SOLIDWORKS serial numbers. This, as said, will be provided just after the purchase of the software. You'll need to enter these in groups of 4 characters. Now, depending on what software you've bought, you might only have a single license key, or you may have multiples. SOLIDWORKS, the main CAD package, is in the 3D design section, but we have products such as visualization, simulation, going down to CAM, technical communication, and electrical design. Just for simplicity, I'll minimize everything but the SOLIDWORKS 3D CAD option. There is an option here to log in. Now, this login can be used, but a bit of work is required in advance. This would require you to assign your serial key to you as an individual user. And ultimately, all it will benefit you from here is pre-populating those serial keys. If you have the serial key already noted, just type it in here instead. I now hit Next to advance to the next stage. And what will happen is SOLIDWORKS will connect to its activation server to determine what that serial key is entitled to. Now, in some cases, you may have a previous version of SOLIDWORKS already installed, so this could be considered more of an upgrade install. However, you can also opt to create a brand new install of SOLIDWORKS at the current version that you're running. We advise to create a new installation upon each new major release. This ensures that you create a clean set of installation files and also will allow you to keep running with the older version just in case. This particular machine has got a whole range of prior versions, but in this case I'm going to go for the first option, create a new installation of SOLIDWORKS 2020. If you don't have a previous version on the machine, this section would be skipped. Now here we're given the option to change the products that we wish to install. More often than not, you can keep these as default, because what has happened is your serial key has been detected and the products available in this list are determined from that serial key. But let's have a look at changing these so you know what options are available. You have a range of different tick boxes for the products that are available to you, and also their file size will be shown in brackets. As you scroll down the list, you'll see various different flavors of the software available to you. As said, because this is detected from your serial key, you shouldn't really need to add or remove any of these software packages. When I return back to Summary, I can then start looking at things such as download options. It gives me an idea of how big the download might be in bold font in the bottom right corner. So this will install a software package of up to 20 gigabytes, and the download size required will be about 8.3 gigabytes. In terms of the download, you can change where you want the download to go to on your machine. It might be that you're running out of space on your C drive and you might change it to a different drive. If you've already got the download files and prepared them in advance, you can also use an option to install only because you already have the install files required. We then have the installation location. This is definitely worthwhile reviewing. By default, SOLIDWORKS will try and install to the file path as shown on screen. C Program Files SOLIDWORKS Corp. Because it's likely that you're going to upgrade from one year to the next, our advice is to tag this folder path with the version of the software you're installing. So in this case, I'm quite simply going to type 2020 after that particular path. When I hit back to Summary, it confirms that will be the new location. Toolbox and Hole Wizard. So this is a database of predefined hole sizes and also hardware that can fit into those particular holes if you have the SOLIDWORKS Professional license. If you don't have SOLIDWORKS Professional, you still benefit from the Hole Wizard, and you need to create a standard database somewhere on your machine or on a centralized server. In this case, it's detected I have a previous toolbox on the machine because of all the old versions, so I need to hit Change. The default location is C SOLIDWORKS Data. Again, if you're running out of space on the C drive or you want to put this on a central server, this is the chance to change it. Similar to the install path, what I'll do here is tag this folder with the version number, so I know exactly which version it relates to. At this point, when you're upgrading from one year to the next, you can also choose an existing toolbox and the software will automatically update it for you. If you're installing SOLIDWORKS Electrical or any of the add-on products, you might also see additional install options for these. You need to accept the terms and conditions, and then you have the option to download and install. So here we have the summary screen after a successful installation. In terms of how long this might take, it will depend largely on your download speed, but also how quickly it can write the installation files to the hard drive. We'd normally say to allow between 20 and 40 minutes for this. On the summary screen, you can review the new functionality in the current release with the option Show me what's new in SOLIDWORKS 2020. This will open up a PDF file for you to review. In addition, you're encouraged to join the SOLIDWORKS Customer Experience program. What this will allow is any log files from your machine to be sent directly and anonymously to SOLIDWORKS. This will help for improving the product over its lifespan. We would encourage you to join, but of course you can be reminded later or completely opt out of this. If required, you might be prompted to restart your computer. It would be advisable to do this before launching SOLIDWORKS. So there you have it. The installation of SOLIDWORKS is complete. Of course, if you need any advice along the way, please don't hesitate to contact our support team. We'll have many more videos for you to explore to help you get the most from SOLIDWORKS from day one.